Cowboys break the mold, chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Every shot's a story, every cheer's a spark. Under the lights we make our mark. Beyond the scoreboard, beyond the lines. Out of the box, redefining the grind. Grind. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Paul Spencer, Cowboys Weekly. Usually it's 9:30 on Wednesday nights, prime time on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. But tonight I had to come on here and let's talk about the Dallas Cowboy 53-man roster. Well, 2 days ago, I did an offense one and I did a defense one. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I came pretty close. There was a couple, on the bubble type players, but let's talk about it. The 53-man roster was initiated today by every team in the NFL. So let's talk about yours truly, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, my name is Paul Spencer. You're tuned in to Cowboys Weekly here. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's get to it. Let's talk about first the cuts. We're not going to go down any kind of specific order, but we'll go down the roster here and talk about the cuts. Let's talk about some of the players that are actually going to be going to the PUP. Number one, the injured reserve. That's going to be Jonathan Mingo. Also, Peyton Turner is going to go to the injured reserve list for the Dallas Cowboys. On the PUP unable to perform list, I hate saying this name, Demarion Overshawn. He's going to start on the PUP list for the Dallas Cowboys. Our number one linebacker is going to be starting on the PUP. Bad day to start that. Against the Philadelphia Eagles week 1. But Demarion Overshawn, I'd rather have him come back healthy in the season later on than come in week 1 and try to contend on a bad ACL there. So I'm okay with that. It's going to hurt us in the beginning, but what makes you stronger in the end is going to make us what we're going to succeed with. So I'm okay with that. So Demarion Overshawn ends up on the PUP week 1. Josh Butler, cornerback as well. He's a projected 5th corner. He is going to go to the PUP list. Also on the reserve list, the NFI, the not able to perform list, this is an injury specification. Siobhan Ravel, our corner, he's going to go to the that list as well. So he's going to end up there. He will be brought back a little bit later. So we are going to get 5 players basically back by week 6 there. We're getting Mingo. We're getting Peyton Turner. We're getting Overshawn. We're getting Butler. And we're getting Siobhan Ravel as well. He'll be back as well, coming back to us too. So I'm cool with that one there. Okay, now let's talk about some of these right here. Let's talk about this. Okay, here it is. Linebackers. First, let's talk about Justin Barron. Justin Barron was an okay player, practice squad guy at best, utility player, showed glints and glamours a little bit, but just didn't pick up the scheme under Eberflus. He's cut, okay, waived basically. Here's one that I want to talk about that I'm just going to go right down a list here that I actually wrote down some names here to talk about. Okay. Nick Broker. He is an offensive lineman. He was not going to make the team. He'll probably won't even get picked up by anybody. Offensive lineman there as well. This one surprised me. Jalen Brooks. Okay. Jalen Brooks, high flyer. I was on the fence with either maybe a Tolbert if he didn't pick up the scheme here or a Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks actually got cut from the Dallas Cowboys. Third year player for the Dallas Cowboys got cut. He might be picked up by another team. To me, he reminds me of, a Noah Brown that went to the Washington Commanders and made a hell of a catch last year on a Hail Mary, basically. Noah Brown reminds me of that Jalen Brooks type player. So Jalen Brooks might clear waivers. We'll see if he can be picked up by another team. If not, I think we, bring him to the practice squad as a utility player, just in case, barring injuries as well. Let's go to another one here. Jerron Christians, offensive lineman, just a backup insurance policy. I didn't see him making the team as well. It's not a big deal. We let him go. He's not a big utility name out there as well. Most likely to be on practice squad somewhere. Elijah Clark, safety, same situation, not a big name. A lot of the names that I'm going to say are not really big name players. A lot of people, if you didn't really watch game 3, you're not going to know who these players are. Made a little, couple plays out there, but it was just the footwork and Tennessee playing safety there. He just didn't pick up the scheme. When you're playing a zone, he would look like a deer in headlights, basically. So he got caught. Elijah Clark there. Now, this one kind of surprised me here. During the camp, we went out and picked a veteran up, a journeyman that's been played for the Cowboys before, went to Cincinnati, couldn't pick it up there. La'el Collins, offensive lineman. I thought he might make the team as an insurance policy. Dallas waived him, let him go. So to me, that tells me like, wow, sometimes, you didn't find a fountain of youth, so you're out of here. La'el Collins is gone. Another name that I want to talk about, Jalen Cropper. Now, this is where it got a little bit on the bubble for me. He wasn't a bubble player, but it made me think about this. They used Jalen Cropper at punt returns. So I thought maybe, okay, we don't want to use Turpin as I did my, roster for the offense and defense. And when I went to offense, I went special teams. And of course, Turpin is our kick returner. But I thought maybe Jalen Cropper might be back there just as a utility special teams player to return the ball. So I thought about that one there. There's my co-host there. Tomorrow night, you will find Eddie with me. Age is caught up with Eddie, 100%. I honestly thought when they picked him up, it was just going to be like an insurance policy, just in case, Booker in his first year coming over, it's from left guard playing right guard for the Dallas Cowboys, our first round pick, barring injuries, hopefully he doesn't get hurt because that's a man right there playing right guard. La'el Collins could have stepped there. At least he gives you a big body, but you're right. Age did not benefit him well. I mean, I hate saying it, but I'm glad he got cut because what happens if he misses a block or he gets pancaked on a spin move, a stunt, and poor Dak Prescott's in the very back there saying where'd he come from, So I can see that, Eddie, 100%. I agree with you 100% there. But getting back to Jalen Cropper, I actually thought he would make the wide receiver just maybe as a punt returner, but I understand why, because we have Turpin back there as well. Moving on, here's another one. Malik Davis. Now, I give this guy a lot of credit, Malik Davis. He played with us for a year, showed, he's a pounder. He's a big back, nice running back to, hit the hole. But what got me too, I got so much respect for Malik Davis because 4 days before Dallas Cowboys played their first preseason game, they gave Malik Davis a call. Malik Davis came in and played 4 days later and had 62 yards for the Dallas Cowboys. The guy knows the system. He's not afraid to run the ball. Then they ended up cutting him. I understand why they're doing that, but still, But also, here's the thing. What I want to talk about next, Denzel Jackson, defensive tackle as well. I thought he would be on there. A great solidified backup, big boy there. But you think about it, he's not going to make the team because we did keep a couple other guys as well. Tight end, we're going to go 3 tight ends, of course. We knew we were going to do that. Princeton Fant got cut here. He showed a very nice catch coming out of the backfield. He couldn't pick up the pass blocking. That was the thing. Schottenheimer said, run the ball. We're going to run the ball. Well, that tells me that a lot of times you're going to be using 12 personnel. And with Ferguson, that is a pass catcher. He's going to be outside. You're going to have Shoemaker. You're going to have Spanford as your blockers. Princeton fan just did not pick up the blocking scheme. So I can understand why he got cut. We're keeping 3 tight ends on the roster this year. I'm okay with that. Another one, Rivaldo Fairweather. Now, if you've seen game 3, Fairweather, I tell you what, I thought he was a running back. Honestly, I don't know. I never seen him play, honestly. As a free agent guy just coming in there, a walk on, got an attempt and an invite to play. He made a catch for 24 yards coming out of the backfield, and the ball was just over his shoulder, and he just made this beautiful catch. One catch doesn't make you on the team, though. That's the thing. Fairweather, you know, I didn't see that's the only thing I've seen of him. I didn't see his blocking skills. I didn't see how he picks up, run blocks versus pass blocks, how he can chip off, a defensive end and get downfield to be the safety blanket for our QB. So, not going to say much about him, but Fairweather, hey, I commend you on that beautiful catch you had on game 3. That's going to be your highlight film. I hope that game film that you had gets you on some team later on down the line. Okay, here's one. Will Greer. Will Greer will make the team. He's going to be that 54th guy, the emergency quarterback, the dresses, holds the clipboard. If he's hungry, he can eat a hot dog on the sideline, just in case. Will Greer will make the team. He's not the greatest QB3. He's not the greatest probably QB4, but we'll take it as it goes. Hopefully we never even get past Dak Prescott to go to Joe Milton for the season. So Will Greer will be on the roster. He will be the 54th man on the roster, QB3. The other one, Keemon Hall. Keemon Hall, if you guys watched a lot of OTAs in camp, Keemon Hall was the one that went toe-to-toe with CeeDee Lamb, getting in his face, arguing with him constantly, telling him like, hey, you're not that good. You're not that good. Well, you know what? CeeDee Lamb said, watch this, caught everything on him, burn him on every play. Keemon Hall, too light in the box. I mean, very small corner. I knew he was going to get cut. Hopefully he gets on a practice squad out there because cornerbacks, we're very light in cornerback, on our team here. So maybe if he, passes out waivers and nobody picks him up, we can put him on the practice squad for, a future assignment here coming up or barring injuries. But we'll move forward on that one there. Darius Harris, another linebacker that I'm not going to say I really watched a lot of. Didn't see a lot of them. Really didn't get a lot of playing time. And that just tells you the writing's on the wall where you're in game 3 and you're not getting a lot of playing time for the Dallas Cowboys. Harris, I'm not even going to talk about a lot because like I said, I didn't see him play that much, and I'm not going to, sugarcoat anything, say he should have made the team. He shouldn't, based on what I've seen. I didn't see anything on him. I don't even know he hit the field, to be honest with you. Here's a guy that I want to talk about. Wow. My co-host said he doesn't like this guy, Eddie Prather. But here's the thing. Trayshawn Holden. Okay. I thought this guy would make the team because I understand why he didn't, because we do have a Devontae Turpin, another slot receiver who's a wide receiver 3. But I really thought Trayshawn Holden would have made this team. He's a flyer. He can get downfield. And to me, the NFL, to me, as an offensive guy, it's all about mismatches. The Eagles have 2 great corners, okay? Most teams have 2 great corners. The third nickelback is where you have a mismatch. Turpin completely is a mismatch. When you have a Trayshawn Holden on team, who's a 4-4 guy, wide receiver with hands, a gazelle, plus he's a kick returner as well. I thought they would have kept Trayshawn Holden. I'm hoping that he passes waivers and we can put him on the practice squad, hopefully for a little bit of time to come up there later as well. Real quick, got a comment here. Joe Sullivan, you can check him out every Monday. Sully Squad, talking all Philadelphia sports as well. And also Thursday night, I'm telling you, look, I'm not an Eagles fan, okay? I freaking hate the Eagles. I'll tell you that straight up, okay? But listen, there's a show that I'm going to check out really quick on Thursday night. It is Joe Sullivan, his crew from the old school show will be popping this on there, the old school, taking a trip down memory lane with special guest Mark Echo, former beat writer of the Philadelphia Eagles. And man, you already know, if you're not a Phillies fan or an Eagles fan, whatever, you better know this guy because you should know this guy. Ray Dittinger, the godfather of Philadelphia sports. Make sure you check him out. They are going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, the Jeffrey Lurie years. So make sure you top on that. Check that out. Even if you're not a Dallas, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you're not an Eagles fan, check this out because this is something about history. So make sure you check that out as well. Joe, I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't even pull a damn question up for you, Joe. I'm sorry about that. Where was it at? Joe says, "What's up, Paul? How's Jaden Blue look? I took a flyer on him. Joe, I wouldn't take a flyer on him. I don't think he's going to play a lot. I think it's this year. I'll be honest with you. Dallas Cowboys are running back by committee. Jaden Blue, actually, he is going to start out basically as running back 3 right now, possibly 4, because the fact he's nursing a shoulder injury. So he is hurt. I'm sorry, a ankle injury. He's going to be out a little bit. So later on in the season, he is that home run hitter, Joe. We seen what he can do at Texas. He's a guy that can catch balls out of the backfield. He's not going to be the bell cow to carry 15, 20 times a game. He's probably going to give you 2 to 5 carries a game, maybe 1 or 2 catches. You know, I'm going to say in a fantasy league, he's probably going to be about a 5 point to 6 point guy weekly, based on what packages that Schottenheimer pulls out for him. Eddie says, I'd rather have Holden than Tolbert. I agree. I agree 100% there. Holden brings a little bit more to me, in the aspects of the Dallas Cowboys. I do like that Tolbert, well, Tolbert is going to be that fourth wide receiver battling with Turpin. But Holden is a gimmick play guy. That's the only thing, Eddie. As you told me before, speed, but how many speed wide receivers can you have on the field at one time? Holden has potential, Tolbert doesn't. I get that too, but we got to give size is what we need. Tolbert does carry that 6'3" frame when Trayshawn Holden is 4'1". I think we do need size, because especially with Mingo being out on the IR right now. So I think we have to go a little bit bigger on size on the outside. There was a couple names that we'll talk about a little bit later that got signed who I really thought would make a waiver wire, or even being traded to go out and pick up, or even in like what we call off-season free agencies out there, still players out there. But I agree and I disagree a little bit there. Joe says, I took him very last round. I'll probably cut him. Hey, listen, if you have the roster spot for him, Joe, go ahead and keep him. Go ahead and keep him. You know, I think it's a good pickup later on, because I'm not sold on Javonte Williams. I'm not sold on Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue. They have high respect for this guy. What I heard Schottenheimer say is they want to get this kid in open space. He looks great in open space. So I think there's going to be a package for him. And I didn't want to call it a gimmick package, Joe. I think they are going to have a package for him. You know, they had a play where I was watching in OTAs. Of course, you're very vanilla, but there was a play where it was Joe Milton in the backfield with Jaden Blue back there. He faked, went on a bootleg and tossed the option, and Jaden Blue was just like dust. He just blew everybody away. So I would keep him if you have a roster spot, Joe. But if you need a backup running back or the RB3, I don't think he's the guy to keep. Honestly, I think it's going to be a committee running back this year. Eddie, I know he's over 6. I was only joking, okay? I was only joking. I know he's like 6. I think he's 5'11" and a half is what they said, I think. Something like that. But he's only 124 pounds. That's the thing. Cowboys fans, old school is eventually going to do the 90s show too. That is America's team, Doc. Yes, Joe and I have talked about that. That was on my mishap. With that, we never did it. We are definitely going to do that. I can't wait. And Joe's, the perfect example. He is a diehard Philadelphia fan through and through. And I tell you what, I respect, fans out there that can talk Dallas Cowboys. And Joe is one of those guys, because, I hopped on a show and we did a show about Howie Roseman. And you know what? They always say keep your enemies close. So got to keep Joe a little bit close to me once in a while. So find out what the hell Lurie's doing, and especially Howie Roseman. You know what I mean? So you have to. So yeah. Eddie says Holden is 6'2". Okay. I mean, he's listed. I think he's listed as 5'11", 6 foot. But hey, I mean, that's fine with me. I'm 6 foot, but I can call myself 6'1". You know what I mean? So all right, let's get back into it real quick. Where are we at? Let's talk about another wide receiver, Josh Kelly. Let's talk about Josh Kelly, okay? Josh Kelly is one of those big wide receivers, a tall guy, as the Eagles have a Johnny Wilson, okay? This is our Johnny Wilson, a big, not that big, not 6'9", 6'8". This guy is, I believe, 6'4", nice size wide receiver. Doesn't have the great speed, but you always need that big wide receiver in the red zone. Hopefully he clears waivers. Maybe we put him on the practice squad there as well. Now, the other one I want to talk about, this one really got me here. Our third-year player, Israel Imakamu. Okay. I like this kid to draft when we drafted him out of here, because I thought he was going to be really good. Okay. But I don't know what it is. Late round corners and safeties for the Dallas Cowboys just don't pan out lately. You know, I just don't know. Israel had his glimpses. He looks good in preseason a couple times, but the problem is he's just not. He just doesn't pick up the philosophy under an Eberflus system, and Eberflus doesn't put man on islands out there. This guy just didn't pick it up. Safeties with our corners, Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs. These guys like to bite on the ball tremendously a lot. So those safeties have to have their head on a swivel. They have to play assignment football where you have an umbrella zone where you're playing right, left, middle. You got to communicate. And I'm sorry, he just didn't pick it up. His third year, he just didn't pick it up. So, you know what, Israel? We'll see you later. Um, Now, the other one I want to talk about, I like this kid. I watched this kid at Notre Dame a lot, Troy Pride Jr. Yeah, game three, he played. He played tremendously a lot in game three. Had a nice pick, but it was a bad ball, showcased him on a bad ball. He got the pick. It was called back. I forgot what the penalty was. Then the next play, he comes back, misses a interception, coming on the ground. He dove. Clearly, the ball went right through his hands, but you're not going to make the team on one play. He was very small. I love Troy Pride Jr. Watched him at Notre Dame as well. He's just not, NFL ready yet. Some players, just because you played a big school doesn't mean you come to the NFL and you're ready to play. We see it a lot. So the other one, Tony Pride Jr. is gone. Okay. Now, Robert Rochelle, safety. This kid, he's a larger safety. Kind of reminds me of, in some ways, Roy Williams in a way, if you think about it. He's a hitter, but I don't want to say anybody's stupid, but you're in the NFL, you don't get assignment football. Robert Rochelle just didn't understand it. He just didn't understand it at corner. He was lost. He just couldn't pick it up. So there was two corners that we lost right there. Israel, excuse me, Michael Ajude the same way. We lost him. Troy Pride, Robert Rochelle, safety Mike Smith Jr. He just didn't pick it up. Didn't watch a lot of him as well. John Stevens Jr., tight end. We're not going to keep 4 tight ends on the roster. Now, here's 2 that I really want to talk about that I'm kind of not. I'm not puzzled. Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn was released. Okay. I mean, I understand at Kansas State, you're one of the, hell, you were in the race for the Heisman Trophy that year at Kansas State. What you did there was solidified. Insane yardage as a 6-foot runner, but hit the hole in game 3. Looked great, but size does matter. Dallas Cowboys do not have that big physical running back. So gimmick plays. You can't have so many gimmick plays on offense. So I understand why he got cut. I'm okay with it. Only person I know that's probably not okay with it is my co-host Eddie. Eddie loves him. We were talking backstage, and he's like, I'm kind of upset that Deuce Vaughn got released. I am too in certain ways, but I do know one person that's a little bit pissed off more than you are, Eddie. That is his father, a Dallas Cowboy local scout in Texas, who, if you guys don't know, beautiful story. The day he was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys late, his dad actually called him and said, "Hey, son, what are you doing tomorrow?" Nothing really. Well, how about you come to the facility because you're a Dallas Cowboy? We drafted you. That is a story that he'll tell his kids one day. But dad's a little bit pissed off in there right now. But business is business. We know that, right? At least dad still has a job, and he's a great recruiter as well. So the other one here was kind of surprised me, man. God, Tyrus Wheat, defensive end. If you didn't watch games 2 and 3, go back and watch the tape on Tyrus Wheat. Tyrus Wheat is a big body, a fast downhill pass rusher, and he can stop the run. He looked good. 6 tackles in game 3. I thought he was definitely going to make the team at defensive end because Micah Parsons is still up in the air. This is the first time I mentioned Micah Parsons this whole show. He's still up in the air. We don't know what the hell's going on with Jerry Jones. I thought Tyrus Wheat would have made the team as well. Okay. Those are just the big names releases out there today. Now let's talk about some injured reserve guys, okay, which we talked about, the PUP, Siobhan Rebel, Demarion Obershon is going to be on there, Josh Butler, Peyton Turner, Jonathan Mingo will be on the PUP injured reserve list. The 6-week list is going to be Demarion Obershon and Josh Butler coming back in week 6, okay? Now, we did trade someone today. I didn't see the trade aspects of it. This one surprised me. Asim Richards, an offensive lineman, a backup offensive lineman, where we're very light in the box on. We traded him. We traded him to New Orleans today, which I don't understand. I don't understand the philosophy of that when O-line and corners are really your bugaboo, where you're not as deep as other teams are at right now. And you trade a insurance policy on the offensive line. A little confused with that one. But there is another name that I'm very happy that made this team. Now we're going to get into some players that I'm so glad they're on this team. But I understand why this one guy made the team. James Houston. This guy is an amazing player. Now, the only reason I know he made the team is a uncertainty for Micah Parsons. If Micah Parsons does not suit up, James Houston will be the starting defensive end on that side. Listen, the dude deserves it. The way he played his ass off in games 1, 2, and 3, definitely needs to be on this roster. I know if he's on that practice squad, he is not going to clear waivers. Somebody will go out and pick him up, first day pickup right away, and add him to the 53-man roster. This kid is that good. I love the kid. You know, I thought he would have made the team regardless, honestly. You know, there was other players that I'm kind of questionable on, being a 53-man team, but I think he's just an insurance policy for week 1 for Micah Parsons. What if Micah Parsons is signed, but he's not ready to play, or, sitting on a table at Atlanta Falcons State and needs some nachos chilling out? I don't know, but Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. We'll see. So I'm very glad James Houston made the team, but I think he will be on the roster. But I just don't want to put him on the practice squad and put him on waivers because some other team will pick him up. Well, sorry about that. CJ Goodwin was released as well, but he will be brought back Wednesday because they're going to put Phil Maffa, who we kept, as well as he has a shoulder injury. We're going to put him on IR. Kalen Carson, we still have Nia Rice him. He's going to the injured reserve list. So that opens up 2 spots. We're going to bring back Hakeem Adenje is a swing tackle, okay, for the offense there. And also we're going to bring back CJ Goodwin in the back end too. So they are going to be coming back most likely. That is my take on it, thinking about what they're going to do. But, if you look at things, the Dallas Cowboys in an outright situation, we talked about players that basically let's rank them. Let's rank this team from projected starters right now. Okay. Now, we already know who our starters are going to be. On offense, Dak Prescott's going to be QB1. Joe Milton's going to be QB2, correct? We already know that's definitely going to happen right there. Running backs. Once again, we're running back by committee this year. Let's go Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, and we're always going to keep the fullback Hunter Lemke. Those are our starters right there. QB, running back situation, right? Now let's go wide receivers. We already know CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Now, we kept Jalen Tolbert, okay? That's one. Ryan Fournier, Kavontae Turpin. Are we okay going into an entire season with these 5 wide receivers? All right. There are some guys that are still out there, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes as well. But let's go. Tight ends, Schoonmaker, Ferguson, Sponford. I'm okay with that. I thought we would probably keep 4, possibly, depending on how we're going to run the ball and throw the ball. I'm okay with these guys. Ferguson is the hybrid. Schoonmaker's the blocker. Sponford is the release utility guy, just in case. Offensive line, let's go Tyler Booker. Let's go Cooper Beebe. Let's go Guyton. Let's go Bass, Hoffman, Johnny Cornelius, Nate Thomas, Tyler Smith, and Terrence Steele. Are we okay with that? I'm okay with the offensive line that we have here. Not a lot of depth, but I like our depth of what we have. Hoffman is a swing player who can play guard and center, okay? We lost Asim Richards, of course. Now, Thomas is a big boy that can play on the outside as well. I think he'll be okay doing that situation there. Now, what I want to do now, I want to move over to the defensive side of the ball. Parsons, does he play week 1? We have the insurance policy in James Houston. He's not going to be a solidified starter for the whole season. He is not your, 11 on the outside. He is not the Michael Parsons on the outside. He is not that guy. So let's move on. Devontae Fowler, Donovan Izaraku, our 2nd-round pick. I watched him in college, and you know what? I didn't do my proper respect to this guy, looking at draft picks with this guy. This guy is just a one-trick pony. He can rush the hell out of the passer. He can get some sacks. But, man, if you run right at him, you're gaining 3 to 4 yards on every play. He is not tackling. This guy cannot tackle on the run stop at all. That's why he's not cracking the top 2 defensive ends for this Dallas Cowboy team. You have a person like James Houston, an unfree agent, unrestricted free agent, undrafted free agent, coming in and taking a better shot than him. For a second round pick, he should have been on the field with Mozzie Smith in game 3 playing the entire game. He should have been out there because he's a one-trick pony. That's all he does is rush the passer. He doesn't deserve a second round spot where the Dallas Cowboys take him. I get he was the best player available, but sometimes even myself, I got to go back and look at that and say, all he does is rush the passer. He's not a run stopper. Now, Sam Williams, can he stay healthy this year? I don't know if he's going to stay healthy with the Dallas Cowboys. Fourth-year player. Has been injured 3 out of the 4 years so far. This 4th year coming in. He's been injured every year. First year, he couldn't practice. He was on the practice squad. Second year, they pulled him up for assignment football. Couldn't crack the 53-man roster. When he gets his chance, he's a no-show. He's got to show up this year because Dallas needs that defensive front seven playing all these teams as well. Mozzie Smith. Oh, man. Can we talk about Mozzie Smith real quick? You know, earlier this week, I did my projected 53-man roster on offense and defense. When I did defense, my bubble guy was Mozzie Smith, high decorated player from Michigan University. You know, a former first-round pick at number 26 for the Dallas Cowboys 3 years ago. I'm not a genius, man. I just give you my opinions. But here's my thing. When was the last time you seen a former first-round pick play preseason game number 3? I'm not talking one drive, one series. I'm not talking one quarter. I'm not talking one half. I'm talking 4 quarters, 60 minutes of football. 60 minutes of football against 4 and 5 string players. Was it a message there? I hope he got his message from Schottenheimer, Eberflus, because, man, this is it, dude. This is your final year. You better do something because the writing, you got a blessing. You got a job this year. And the way you played in the last 3 years, for the 2 years for the Dallas Cowboys, man, I don't even know why you're on the Dallas Cowboys right now. So, Mozzie Smith, be gracious that you even got a look for the Dallas Cowboys to keep you as a former first rounder. Solomon Thomas, Jay Toya. I love his depth at defensive tackle. Huge DT from UCLA. I love the kid. I think he's going to be a great utility player. Insurance policy for someone like an Odighizuwa. We know Odighi's going to be there. He just got signed this year to a huge contract. I'm happy with that. I think he's going to be Toa's going to be a great backup for him. And to learn from Odighi, I love the situation that he's in as well. Also, let's look at Perion Winfrey. Now, if you guys don't know Perion Winfrey, you know, we did a show last week, and of the last 2 weeks, we do it every Wednesday night, Cowboys Weekly. And I said, this guy is really standing out to me. Perion Winfrey is just that beast, the big body guy. You know, he's not a Jalen Carter type player, but this dude is a massive human being. This guy's a specimen. He gets in there. He can run block. His arm span. You know, if you ever watch wrestling, you get a clothesline. This dude is that guy. He's a clothesline guy. He gets in there. He fills holes. He's not afraid to do the dirty work. Perion Winfrey makes the team as a backup on defensive end there. He can play defensive end. He can move to the outside. He can play tackle as well. I love this kid. Perion Winfrey is a great asset to the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, let's talk corners here. Wanye Thomas, Donovan Wilson at safety, Trayvon Diggs, Marquise Bell, Elam, Kalen Carson's going to the IR. Andrew Booth. I don't know why the hell we have Andrew Booth. I guess it's an insurance policy right now. Jerome Bland, Malik Hooker, and Zion Childress. Good player. I like our corners. I think they're all depth players. Donovan Wilson really has to show me something this year. Trayvon Diggs. Now, Trayvon Diggs said today he's ahead of schedule, but he's not sure if he's going to play week 1. Okay. Well, you know what? I understand that. You're not ready to play right now. I get all that. But, man, you just got paid 2 years ago, brother. I know you had an injury, but why are we going into camp here and still not ready to play? Why? I don't get it. If he doesn't play, it's going to be Elam stepping in with Bland, okay? Then your nickel comes in. Who's your nickel going to be? Well, Javon Rebel is going to be on the IR for 6 weeks. So then you're going to be looking at who? Kalen Carson? No, he's on the IR. So who do you go to? A Booth? It's going to be a very bad situation at corner if Diggs is out. And even if Diggs is in, is he 100% healthy? We don't know. The greatest thing about this Dallas Cowboy roster is one thing. We got the best damn kicker in the NFL. We got Brandon Aubrey. I mean, 60 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, not a problem. Of course, he's got his best friend Trent Sieg as well, the long snapper. We got Brian Anger as well as our punter. We're in good shape there. My only question is for Aubrey this year. Will he kick a 70-yarder? That's the main question. That's the main question. I think he does kick a 70-yarder this year. Could have done it last year, but you remember that coach we had called a timeout when he kicked a 71-yard field goal? You guys remember that? 71-yard field goal. And one of our coaches called timeout last year. Ice your own kicker. I don't get it. I don't get it, right? All right, let's talk about some guys that were cut here. To me, there's two places I want to talk about tonight. Wide receiver. Now, we know we don't need a slot guy, okay? But I did write down a couple slot guys that they're kind of, wow, they got cut today. They got cut today. Let's talk about some speedy ones first. How would you feel if you're at work and they just nominated you the new manager of your entire company and your name is Cam Ward? Cam, here's the keys to the whole business, man. We went out and drafted one of your best friends, your target number one at Miami University, Xavier Respro. We drafted him. They released him today. Xavier Respro got released from the Tennessee Titans today. This guy was a 1,200-yard wide receiver, small guy, Julian Edelman type guy. Every team needs one. They released him today. Dallas can't use him. We have Turpin. Holden got released. So why even bring a Xavier Respro? I know he's a lot better player, but wouldn't make sense. Another guy, a big guy, been around, a journeyman. What about MVS? Marquise Valdez Scandling. Seahawks released him as well. Nice size on the guy. Maybe we go out and pick him. Another small guy, Deontay Johnson, was released by the Bears. Another speedy wide receiver. Can't use him as well. Robert Woods, a journeyman's played everywhere in the NFL. I don't think there's a team that he hasn't played for. Was released by the Pittsburgh Steelers today. Another small guy, Hunter Renfrow, journeyman as well. Raiders. How many years did he play there? Hunter Renfrow was released by the Panthers today. But the only guy that I would probably take a flyer on would be Marquise Scandling, maybe. That would be the only guy that I would take a flyer on. The one guy that I think could be a practice squad gem, is one guy. A lot of times, everybody talks about just because your dad is a Hall of Famer, you should be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, there's a difference between that and playing on the field. Deion Sanders is arguably one of the best corners in NFL history, Hall of Famer, arguably the best corner ever to play the game. His son Shiloh gets cut from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So here's the thing. Just because you have the pedigree and the bloodline doesn't make you an NFL player. But there's one player that I was very high on. He went to USC. Brendan Rice, son of Jerry Rice. The kid looks good. I like this kid. He was a third wide receiver at USC, all the way up to number 2. He's a flyer, has great hands like his dad. His route tree is incredible. All he needs is a little bit time under the right tutelage. Just imagine if he sat on the practice squad for 1 to 2 years. He's 22 years old. Just imagine if he sat behind CeeDee Lamb for 2 years. You bring him up, okay? Just imagine if he was a slot guy with running ability like that, with the progression. It would be a great thing. Brendan Rice was released by the Cards today. I would take a flyer on, put him on the practice squad. Why not? With a name, though, I think he's probably going to get picked up somewhere, But let's get some of the comments. Evan Laurel checking in. Thanks, Evan, checking in. Didn't transfer well to the NFL. There's a lot of players that didn't do that. Respro was he was a beast at Miami. That's all they really had out in Miami. You look at Cam Ward. He used him so much, and third down, he knew where he was. If it's just throw the ball and he can get it. I agree. He just didn't transfer well to the NFL. He just didn't. I was kind of surprised he didn't, though. I just don't know. I think he will definitely be picked up because every team needs a slot wide receiver. And, you look at his game film, which is kind of not doing his diligence because everything he did at Miami, he did exceptionally well. So we'll see. Eddie says Scanlon's bad. I get that, Eddie, but the thing is, man, are you okay going with Tolbert? Are you okay to go in with the Tolbert and Fournier? Fournier can't catch a cold in Alaska. You know what I mean? At least Scandling, he's a body wide receiver. What happens if you lose, God forbid, a Lamb or a Pickens? The slot is okay. We can always go and get a slot. Hell, Xavier's right there. We can put him in a slot. He's just like a Devontae Turpin type guy. But MVS. I mean, he's the biggest guy out there, though. That's the thing. You need another big wide receiver, though. Scanlon is the bum of the year. Well, I don't know bum of the year. I mean, there are some bums out there. We still have Mozzie Smith on the team. That son of a bitch isn't running for our bum. Yes, Bo Collins, man. Listen, you guys got a gem. You know I'm a big Notre Dame guy, which I'll do doing the show Notre Dame Golden Dome every Saturday coming up in a couple of weeks. Bo Collins, man, played at Florida State, went to Notre Dame. This kid is good, man. I mean, he is a possession guy. He's not afraid to move the sticks, put his nose down, put his helmet down, and fight for the ball. I love this kid. You guys got a gem in Bo Collins, man. I love him. I love him. Congratulations. And Evan's a diehard, New York Giants fans. We won't hold that against them, but we'll see, man. We'll see what's going on. Let's see. Scanlon can't catch. Well, neither can Fournier, neither can Tolbert. I mean, I'd rather have Xavier. I understand that too, but Eddie, you can't have two slot receivers under 5'7". You know what I mean? You can't do it. Speed is a great asset on offense, but to me, they're more, check down guys because maybe with the offensive line, maybe we're looking at on the offensive line, we need the bigger wide receivers that can, go downfield with the timing routes. We're not going to have enough time for the slant routes with the speed there with the offensive line. I don't know. Now, what I do want to talk about offensive line here. I wrote down 4 guys here. Give me your take on these guys here. Since we got rid of Asim Richards for a trade to the New Orleans Saints, which I'm kind of puzzled about, offensive line kind of skeptical for where we're at. What about Dan Skipper? We all know Dan Skipper, right? Dan Skipper from the Detroit Lions was released as well. Starter for the last 3 years, utility guy that can play left tackle, left guard. Great spot there. What about a Dan Skipper as well? Now, here's one that I'm really, it's kind of, I'm going to use his word in his name here. Strange. Let's talk about Cole Strange from the New England Patriots. 29 games started in the last 3 years. A great tackle. Why not pick up Cole Strange? I mean, he played on a bad team, started, 29 games straight, was released today as well. Do you take a flyer on him just as an insurance policy to a Tyler Smith or a Guyton on the outside? You could do it, right? I mean, I don't think he's gonna clear waivers, honestly. I think he's gonna be picked up, if not for starter, or definitely gonna be a depth move on some offensive line out there. Let's talk about another guy, Trent Brown from the Texans, released to as well. Big body guy. A lot of people compare to him. It's like a Tunsil type guy. Not the name wise, but body wise, presence wise, I think he could be picked up by another team as well. Do you take a flyer on him? Let's see. Sorry there. Sign Rice then. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out names out there, Eddie. There's going to be receivers out there that game film that we didn't see. There's over 300 wide receivers out there that are still available that if they clear waivers, they'll be on somebody's team, practice squad. I'm just using the ones that I've seen in college. And I think he only had like 2 catches in the preseason, with the Cards. So I don't know if he's the greatest player, but I'm just going on college, history, what I've seen. So Eddie says, wasn't Skipper the dummy? Yes, he was. He was the one that didn't. Well, he did check in. I mean, he said he's an eligible guy checking in because he went to the official and the official looked at him and he went and he put his hand up in the air and they called that bogus, illegal substitution play there. Yeah, it was him 100%, 100%. So what better way to come back to the Dallas? Just come back. Hey, you know what? You got screwed by the Dallas Cowboys. Come play for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Why not, right? Why not? But and the other guy is former first round pick, man, 2022 Eagles first round pick Kenyon Green. Okay, traded to the Houston Texans this year, was released. I don't know why he got released. I didn't watch any game film of him in the preseason. I want to know why he was released. Was it something injury? Was it a just didn't pan out? Because when you're a former first round pick, Mozzie Smith, 26 pick, I don't know where Kenyon Green went in that draft by the Eagles in 2022, but they traded him and he was released today. So there's got to be writing on the wall regarding that, right? So I don't know why. Which one of those guys would you take a flyer on? To me, I'm going to go Cole Strange, man. Strange as it may sound, that was a little joke there. Cole Strange, I would take him. 29 starts in the last 3 years on that team there. I like Cole Strange. I would take him. depending on the price. When you're on waivers, you're not going to get a big, you're not going to get that big contract. You're not going to get it. Uh, Dante Turbo Miller, running back, would do well for you all. He's a beast. Dante Turbo Miller. Who the hell is that? The guy that I want at running back right now is my guy, Audric Estime. He was released by the Denver Broncos. Okay. I'm not talking running backs, but you know what? There's a name that I want, Audric Estime. To me, at Notre Dame, I called him when I did the Notre Dame show. When I watched him run, he is the bus junior. Okay. I love the kid, Audric Estime. He got screwed in Denver. He sat behind Javonte Williams. Okay. I think he is a great guy for our team. He's that big back that can get in there young. I think this is his second year. When he graduated, he was 23. He's 25. No mileage on him. All his mileage is from Notre Dame. In pros, he didn't get the ball. I would like Audric Estime. And he agrees Strange easily. Yeah, I 100%. I would take Strange, as an insurance policy. Of course, he could be a starter day one. Because listen, if Guyton doesn't pick it up, man, why not put Cole Strange in there? Why not? I would definitely do it. I want Estime too. Yeah, I do too, Eddie. I mean, he's going to be a very cheap back. Hell, you can get him for $1 million if he makes a team. Hell, if you pick him up, put him on the practice squad. Claim the rights to him, bring him on the practice squad. He played well for the G-men, and super surprised he got waived. Eddie was saying the same thing. Certain players got waived. It's mind blowing that we see some of these teams that we think like, okay, wow, he really showed out in the preseason, but then you're cutting these players. There's a lot of players out there that the same way that I thought, okay, this guy's going to make the team. For us and every team, it's just really surprising out there that we're just Monday morning quarterbacks. We do podcasts and we think we know it, but damn, there's a coaching philosophy out there where Schottenheimer's seeing something we need. You know, all these coaches are out there saying, okay, well, this guy's not going to pan out. He doesn't fit our scheme, our system. I hear a lot of people say like, well, this guy's got to be good. He looked great in preseason. Okay, well, you're playing against fourth and fifth round players. Shiloh Sanders, for example. You know, why do you make the team? I've heard it was racism. Nah, he punched one guy. I don't want to hear that shit. Okay, you got burnt when you were out there every play that you played, and then you know what? Nobody wants you. Now you got to go to the CFL, and you're with the Toronto Argonauts. Okay, so it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of players out there, but before we get out of here, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I was only going to do like a 15-minute show, but I appreciate you guys checking in as well. Really quick, guys, I just wanted to say a couple of things. What we have on the shows coming up here as well. All right, let's see. Tomorrow night, you already know. Myself and Eddie will be live tomorrow night talking Dallas Cowboys on the Cowboys Weekly tomorrow night at 9:30. We're going to give you our 53-man roster. Eddie's going to give you his take as well. We're going to talk about more possibly pickups, who's going to clear waivers, what we can do to bring team players in as well. Now, guys, listen, Thursday, I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm going to tell you that right now. But you got to check this out. You got to check this out. The old school show's back. Taking a trip down memory lane. Joe, Fuji, Sean, Sully Squad Sports, the Jeffrey Lurie years. August 28th, 6 p.m. Special guest, Mark Eckel, former Eagles beat writer. And at 6:30, I'm telling you, Ray Dittinger, the godfather of Philly sports. They're going to be talking about all Jeff Lurie for God knows it could go on all night. These guys right here will bring it. They will bring the heat. So make sure you check that out because if you're a fan of the NFL, that's a show you definitely want to check out as well. The Bat Cave is back with Ken Fry every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Check him out as well. Next week, guys, this is it. This is it. I'm a Dallas fan. Evan is a Giants fan. Eddie's a Cowboys fan with me. We have a host on the network of Eagles fans, and we do have a couple Redskin fans out there, Commanders, NFC East War Room. Next Tuesday, 9 p.m., it gets started the week of the Cowboys and Eagles, the week of the Giants and the Commanders. Check it out every week. This Friday is here, College Football Frenzy, 7 p.m., myself and Eddie talking all college football, top 25 games of the week. We're talking them every week. And boy, this weekend is stacked. Are you freaking ready? Oh, I'm ready, of course. And of course, Thursday, we're going to be on at 7:30 this week because the old school is coming back. We had to move time for that. Dan and myself will be talking all NFL weekly, giving you our input of every team out there. No matter who it is, we'll talk about it. The Las Vegas Kings is going to be back with Ken Fry. Also, Monday night's coming up, 7:30. Myself and some panelists will be talking about Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. We're going to do the same thing. And if you're a fan of the network, here it is. This is our schedule. We got something for everybody as well. So make sure you check it all out. And also tomorrow night, here it is, the Big Blue Power Hour tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Dan's going to be bringing it live, and Edmund's going to be hopping on there as well periodically. So make sure you check out everything on the network here as well. A little quick, got some comments really quick here before we get out of here. Shiloh was a dirty player at Colorado. He was a dirty player, but he sucked too. I mean, he really was. He really was. You know, I mean, he wasn't going to make the team. I was surprised that he even got picked up. You know, he's one of those players that you just bring in for a look. You don't pan out. You don't fit the system. You're not part of the scheme. You go. You know, I didn't even like him at Colorado, honestly. A lot of times he got burnt. He really wasn't a top 3 corner at Colorado playing under his dad. We got a really crowded running back room. I agree. Evan, when is Scatterboo going to be ready to play? I mean, I think he's going to be definitely, you know, he's going to be the scat back, not a scat back, but he could be your lunch pail guy every day. I do like your running backs as well, but Scatterboo is just something that he's just a ticking time bomb waiting to get in there and get it happening. So I can't wait to see that one as well. He hasn't changed. No, I agree, Eddie, 100%. He's still the Sanders name, right? Sanders name, you know, all for me, look good, play good. Or what was it? Look good, feel good, play good. Well, you look good, you feel good, but you can't play good, brother. Very simple. So, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Once again, guys, make sure you check out the Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We appreciate everybody out there. You know, my name is Paul Spencer. I'm part of half of the Cowboys Weekly every Wednesday night, 9:30 on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. We'll be back live tomorrow night. Myself and Eddie will be talking about the 53-man roster once again, giving you a little bit more. Eddie's probably going to put me in my place for what I said tonight. So make sure you tune in this tomorrow night. Everybody, we appreciate you checking in, and we'll see you. And make sure you like, share, subscribe to Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Once again, my name is Paul Spencer, and I'll see you.
Game strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time.